Gotcha.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Zen Lounge. We have another special podcast. We're bringing you another project that is building on Coreum Layer 1 blockchain. This is John, the founder of Axalio. Axalio is a digital banking platform. They're aiming to streamline secure access to a diverse range of investment options, including tokenized real-world assets. You guys know we're really excited about that. And they're looking to tokenize real-world assets such as gold, cobalt, and lithium. And they're also going to be working with cryptocurrencies and traditional financial assets. The platform is aiming to offer a holistic financial ecosystem that encompasses banking, investment, and payment solutions. And they're looking to power this with the Coreum blockchain technology. So today we have the founder, John, with us. We're going to learn more about his project. And also, we're going to learn more about his relationship with the Coreum team, the grant he just received. We're super thrilled. Welcome, John, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Zen. I appreciate you inviting me on the show, and I look forward to a really productive conversation and quite excited to be here.
So let's start with Axilio. Let's start with the project, what you're aiming to solve with it, and maybe some of the backstory of like what
Sure.
you've done to get to where you are now. I think that'll be pretty cool.
I think the backstory is pretty important to understand where we are and why Axalio exists. You may actually ask the question, hey, another fintech. There are actually way too many fintech solutions out there, but I do believe that we're bringing a different perspective, and this is something that I want to be able to share with you on this podcast, on this conversation with you. That certainly will give some light into not only the entire Coreum ecosystem, but the globe as a whole, or at least everybody else will be coming into watching this specific video. But first and foremost, I'm a software engineer myself. I've been trained as a an engineer, and I've been writing software code for the last 17 years. And I'm a three-time founder. This is the third startup. The first two, sorry, this is the third one. But the first two were more of a sort of a boutique consulting firms writing software codes, and essentially the second one was more focused on blockchain technology. And the third one here, Axalio, is the result of a personal frustration that I have endured over the last 9 years. And I remember in 2014, well, this is actually a couple of years after I had been introduced to Bitcoin and blockchain technology. But in 2014, I was kind of venturing into the whole world of the mining sector. I was fascinated by it. I mean, think about it. I'm a software engineer who happens to be writing codes and spending, sleepless night and being behind the laptop, very excited about writing codes. But then I get into this world of minerals, and but I was just thrilled. And after I spent some time digging in, I realized the tremendous amount of opportunity that lied just around minerals. And I think at that time I was working around brokering a deal on copper with a friend and partner of mine in Italy, a multi million dollar guy. And during the process, about 9 months to arrange everything from start to finish, from identifying the right source and understanding what goes behind the scenes, traveling and meeting with the buyers who've got access to lots and lots of money, ready to spend tens of millions of dollars. And I'm talking about one customer, not a bunch of them, one who's ready to spend with you $10 million every single month for at least 3 years because that's his business, right? And understanding exactly what the issues are with regard to the source, and me being the middleman in between, brokering the whole deal, and through the process, I was like, you know what, this is that entire process led me to realize number one, the opportunities that exist in our soil in Africa, which predominantly is dominated by the Western world and the Asian market, the Chinese market, and so forth, who are in Africa and deploying hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, digging, through the soil and extract mineral. And yet you have the artisanal guys who get the mining rights and the land and everything else, but really suffering for being able to get access to just funding and helping them through the deals, right? In other words, if these guys had infrastructure or financial access that would allow them to do this deal themselves, they wouldn't need me in between. They'll just go ahead and deal with the guys directly in Italy, right? But now you come, there's a very difficult market to penetrate in Africa, which is for a very long time has been considered as one of the most corrupt environment and very difficult to deal with. We don't trust the people out there. So all of this stigma around that, and also even traditional banks making it so difficult for these guys to get access to capital. Something had to give, something had to be found, a solution had to be provided for these guys. And me as a software engineer who loves to listen to issues of people and go back to my lab and find ways to solving those problems, I wanted to find a solution for these guys, right? So what did I do? Went out there and said, you know what? Okay, you are the buyer. You've got access to the fund. You've shown me the money, and I understand this is legit. We've gone through the whole process. Now you are the guy who's going to supply this thing, but this guy doesn't know you and doesn't trust you either. But you know what? We are going to find a way to put together something that will help you to fund this deal. We get it across, and in between, everybody who participates get access to awesome, sexy margins. Man, I tell you, I was sold. I was like, you know what? If we do this in one place, we can replicate it in any other types of commodity, and that will just be the start of the journey. But let me tell you, Zen, it wasn't easy. In that process, I lost a lot of my own money. I got scammed, I got duped, I got this and I got that. But you know what? I didn't stop because I saw the future. I saw the opportunity. And at that time, I was not even thinking about blockchain technology. It did not even resonate with me as to why would that be a solution in the first place. I was more intrigued about solving that problem and finding ways to build or to come up with a new infrastructure or a new solution that would allow us to bridge the divide and make sure that, you know what, we can rebuild the trust world globally and unlock tremendous wealth creation opportunity from Africa and bring it to the world. And Axalio was born as a result of that journey. But it was a painful journey, a 9 years journey that has given me all the insight, the understanding of what is going on behind the scenes, itemized details of the margins that you're making, whether it is gold, and understanding exactly the price discovery from the source from Africa when it's actually still a raw material and all the way through to an international market. All of these things actually really shaped me in my journey for me to be able to create Axalio. But it wasn't until 2018, and I remember being in New York and right at Times Square, and I'm like, you know what? This is where I want to be one day. This is where I would love to see my startup being right there and either announcing some kind of partnership or whatever. But when I was there and I had a conversation with some guys who understood my journey around blockchain technology and all the traveling that I had done around the world and speaking at various events in Singapore and Los Angeles at Step Center before we became crypto.com and many other places around the world. So I've been all over. And this guy told me, hey, John, you know what? You're working on an amazing project, and I think your concept is unique. But how unique is it? If you look into fintech today, and I feel like fintech has reached a pinnacle point whereby the first thing that comes to your mind when people talk about fintech, especially from an African perspective, is remittance and cross-border payment. I'm sick and tired of hearing those solutions. I think there are way too many of them that exist. I don't care whether you come today and tell me, you know what, I'm going to use Coreum to lower the fees to compete with Western Union or MoneyGram and pay about $1 or actually even less than 1%. I don't care about that because it will take you so much time and so much money for you to be able to reach a point where you can be profitable. because there aren't enough margins to be able to attract when you're focusing on cross-border and remittances when you want to compete with Western Union, who is already attracting 3% to 10%, depending on the market, depending on where they are. And you coming in and say, you know what, we are going to do 0.25%. I'm just giving a stupid example right there. It will take you a tremendous amount of money to convince the world to be able to utilize your platform. Now, my experience looking at where the real opportunities are, I thought, you know what, fintech is way more than just payment. It's way more than just cross-border remittances. It's way more than just really what we see today in the world of crypto. It's way more than just the exchanges. I mean, who cares about exchanges? Yes, exchanges are there. Exchanges are not solving problems. They're not solving real problems, exchanges. Like for me, if I were to trade Bitcoin to Ethereum and Bitcoin to, I mean, what kind of solution am I bringing to the world? This is one of the reasons why we're lagging in adoption. Think about it. AI existed a while ago, but ChatGPT fast-tracked the adoption. But it is simple to use. It makes sense to everybody out there. We are still stuck up. We are still in this blockchain ecosystem in the crypto world. We're making it difficult for ourselves, and we're making it difficult for people to adopt the solution. We should not talk about, look, ask the average person on the street. Come and use crypto. First of all, it's a scam. Second of all, how the hell do I use a crypto exchange? How the hell what is a private key? I mean, is that what I need? I don't need that. How can I create wealth? Simply, by the way, simply. How can I get access to things that exist that previously were not accessible to me? How can you, because you guys are promising the world, you guys say, hey, we're solving the problems of the world, we're doing this, we're doing that. How on earth are you doing it to help me as an individual where I am right now? That's what I am fascinated about. That's what I am after. My own personal frustrations, I want to solve them leveraging the blockchain technology, which, by the way, was created in the first place to achieve Bitcoin. That was the mission right there. But greed and scams and manipulations and a whole bunch of other BS out there have prevented us to really bring this beautiful innovation to the world and say, you know what? Here, Mr. World, we are bringing in new solutions that will solve problems. Each continent has got its own issues, and Africa lags so much behind when it comes to, first of all, basic infrastructure. We are not concerned in Africa about how the world of AI is going to innovate. No, we are concerned about the basic financial infrastructure. If we solve that basic element, that universal basic right, now we can talk about how we can innovate. How can this make sense to the person out there, right? That's exactly what we need to achieve. And that's the journey behind Axalio. So I wanted to not only solve real problems, but at the same time, make a ton of money doing it. And by doing it, why a ton of money? I don't need 1 million people on my platform to generate $10 million in revenue for the first 12 months. I can do that with less than 1,000 people by tapping into the right product, the right pricing mechanism, the right opportunity, the right market, and then bring that to the world. But now think about it. When you add payments, because now you built that foundational layer, you now add payments on top of it. The possibility for it's infinite scalability, infinite possibility of being able to really like turn this Axalio into a monumental beast. But of course, we the underdog. I mean, every startup is never seen until they start making traction. It will take us some time to get there, but I do believe that we've managed to craft a real path to profitability by focusing on solving that underlying problem. It is a complex issue that needs to find the right solution. Once we do that, we have the ability to forge the right B2B partnership relationship out there. Because the B2Bs are the guys with the big money. There's no shortage of people wanting to spend tens of millions of dollars every single month to buy commodity. Then we can enable the B2C guys. These is the people at the bottom of the pyramid. But we want to be able to transfer that wealth coming from the B2B guys to the B2C. And now we need to force the relationship with governments, who, by the way, are desperately looking for the right partner to help them achieve their goals. Some of them have good intentions. Many of them just don't know how to get started. So they need the private sector, people like us, to understand what is going on behind the scene, to tell them we've got a solution, not to bother them about the technical jargon, but to tell them how we are solving those problems.
But you have,
Where the bank,
do you have these type of relationships in your network?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And those relationships are, we're not just talking about types of relationships. We're talking heads of states. I'll give you one example. My home country, the DRC, where I was born, where I'm from. I speak French, by the way. So the current president, we've got direct access to him. The prime minister, that's my wife's older brother. Well, I'll let you do the math right there. Because as a prime minister, he's the chief of the government. Now, every single time people reach out to me and say, just about earlier on today, somebody reached out to me because he wants me to chip in and help unlock some situation out there, right? So that's the kind of leverage that you have. Think of it like being a lobbyist at the White House. Like you positioned out there, and you can talk to the secretary, I don't know, to the president's office or whoever, to help advance your conversation, or that's exactly what it is. So it is important to have these relationships around the world for something of this magnitude, because Axalio is not just bound to the African borders. It is for the global south. It is for the entire world. Africans are all over the world, but at the same time, it was created to bring some of the best opportunities that exist around the world in Africa. At the same time, export the best opportunities from Africa to the world. But also allow Africans among themselves. And now, thanks to the Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement, to being able to do business amongst each other. I give you one example. You can become a multi-millionaire just holding a Tesla stock, but not even owning a Tesla car. Because all you would do in the US is to invest in Tesla stock. But Tesla's car relies on components coming from my country. Cobalt.
I heard about that in one of your interviews.
There you go.
So people in Africa, most people can't even purchase Tesla stocks, huh?
Now it depends on the regions. From where I come from, we hold 70% of the world reserve of cobalt. But it's very difficult for any of these guys to buy a Tesla stock. And when I saw, and I'm just connecting the dots as well, but at the same time, this is a conversation we have really. When I saw what Coreum is doing, and the core mission for Wave 2, whereby tokenization of real world assets was really at a centerpiece, especially tokenizing securities, and they saw that we had licenses in South Africa. So that was a no-brainer, because this guy seemed like they've taken into account some of the elements that we want to be able to offer. And when I looked into what Genetic is doing as well, which is not a separate project, but same founders and same energy, same community, I was like, damn, this guys really have thought about it all. so through Axalio, guess what, Zen? I can tokenize that Tesla stock, and through other KYC mechanism, allow influx of capital to flow into that Tesla stock, giving these guys an opportunity to earn some dividend based on the success of Tesla. This is
So
just
you guys would be like
think
would you guys be like a custody partner in that situation?
in that situation, yes. So definitely, I still believe that there's a need for CeFi in the world. Although last year we've seen a lot of craziness happening, but I think the CeFi world needs to be better regulated. And I'll tell you the reason why CeFi is still going to be important. 99% of people still don't know how to hold the private keys. I don't care what the
I
world
know
says.
that. I know that for a fact. I get grandmas in crypto and they lose their private
Yeah,
keys. You know, it's
yeah.
almost it's better for them to
That's it.
stay on the centralized exchange sometimes, even though we preach not your keys, not your crypto. Some people aren't ready for that.
Look, if people would just people aren't wired like that. People are not wired like that. It will take the next 50 years before the world is fully into some automated process. There's AI, there's everything digital. It will take that time, but also perhaps a killer app that simplifies the entire process. The complexities of having I was installing one of the wallets the other day that stores Coreum. Zen, I'm a tech guy. I like simplicity. But as I was installing this app, it's a beautiful app, by the way, beautiful. And I understand the concept behind it. You got the main app, you got the vault, because it's all about, two separate apps, one vault, one this. But I'm like, hold on a second. The complexity of just trying to make the whole thing. I'm like, if I can see this complexity, how about the person who doesn't even know how to read a single line of code? He will just not use that application. And this is how hard we are making it. Right now, you and I having a conversation on Zoom. I'm not talking about, hey, Jen, before we do this podcast, let's first understand exactly who built this laptop. How was it built? I mean, this material, where does it come from? Okay, fine. I understand that there's cobalt coming from my country. Can I see the cobalt in this thing? I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care. Oh, well, it works on the internet. Can I understand the zeros and ones? And no, I don't care. I just know I need some type of screen, laptop, or a phone. I need some connection. Hopefully, it's a great connection. And I just need to click on a button and get connected. And voila, we feel like we're in the same room. That's what we need, simplicity.
Let's
But
go.
if it's going to be very difficult for me to do that, installing and managing crypto, man, we're failing ourselves and we're failing the communities we want to help.
Definitely agree with you. I think that that's where we're gonna get to, right? That's the goal. Is like when it's looked at like email or making a phone call that simple. It's just
Yeah.
like unconsciously people are just using these blockchains, but we're not really there yet. So you mentioned, Coreum, Sologenic team. This is a good chance because the reason why we're here is because you received the Wave 2 grant. And you said you've been
Yeah.
in contact with them in a long time. Can you share with us more about your relationship and finishing off with what this grant is going to basically enable you guys to start working on with the Coreum blockchain?
For sure. Yeah, for sure, Zan. So it's quite funny how this whole thing went about, right? So should I even talk about how I got started and how I landed into this whole grant thing? Can I tell you about it?
Yeah, I got all the time in the world, man.
So February, right? Somewhere in February, or probably towards the end of February, I had just finished filling up our profile on one of the largest startup ecosystem called F6, no, F6S. Yeah, it was funny, very funny to pronounce that. Now, immediately when I finished, just about a week or 2 weeks later, I got matched with quite a few. potential investment accelerators or whatever, grant, and Coreum was one of them. So then I went on in Coreum, and I mean the whole page. So I read the whole thing, and the theme was really in line with what Axalio is working on to deliver. So I went on the website. I was very excited about the website, and at that time we were busy getting ready for to launch our crowdfunding campaign, which we haven't launched yet because it takes a lot of preparation for that. Um, and I shared the current page with my CTO, who's in Houston, Texas, and looked at it. I looked at it. I was like, you know what? This really looks very interesting. Programmable money, Cosmos, WASM. It's not Cardano. We wanted to work on Cardano, but we kind of stopped because after I did my research, and we still love the Cardano ecosystem, but I did my research. It's very expensive for us to get developers buy and whatnot. So we kind of put a pause on that. But also one of the reasons why we wanted to go into Cardano is because we signed a binding deal, a binding MOU on October 18th last year to supply gold. Now think about this, okay, to supply gold to a partner that's building the DeFi banking stack on Cardano. And they had promised the Cardano ecosystem the first gold-backed token. Now, because my relationships in Africa bring about the resources, and this is one of the many things that a lot of the people in the US don't have access to, the source. The source is critical. The source is important, especially when you have it. When I say the source, really the source. I'm not talking about the gold bar that's already refined and sitting in the vault. No. I'm talking about the source, right? So that's the reason why we wanted to go into Cardano. But eventually we're like, you know what? It's too complex and themselves have taken a long time. And Coreum comes about and we start to do a deep dive and damn realize this is exactly what we want. Tokenized securities, these. I'm like, fantastic. And then they brought in the concept of smart tokens. So I did a deep dive on that. And I sent it to my CTO as well, did a deep dive. And he was blown away, said, John, listen, these guys have got it all. These guys have got what we need. This is it, John. This is it. And my CTO is a beast. I call him a ninja. He's built some of the amazing systems for corporate banking in America. Yeah, and I'm not going to mention the name of the bank in here, but it's one of the top, if not the top, bank in America. And so the guy looked at this like this is it. Let's get close. Let's just hope they're serious. But if they claim that there is that one-stop shop, then you know what? We've got ourselves a good deal. So and I went on and now I applied, and I think the guys who were the program managers were Eric, Fabio, and somebody else, Otto, I believe, and at the time. So and then I went on LinkedIn. So as I went on LinkedIn, I looked for Fabio. I couldn't. Well, Fabio wasn't really active. He's not really that active on LinkedIn. Otto, I connected with Otto on LinkedIn, but then eventually, just disappeared for a bit. But Eric, man,
He's on point.
Eric is my man. Eric is my man. Eric is the guy. He is, he is calm. He is prompt. He is, look, you feel when every single time that I was uncertain, I found peace when I was talking to Eric. Eric is that guy. You know what I'm saying? So he made me feel comfortable. And so I went on LinkedIn and I said, okay, who is Eric connected to? And I said, okay, fine, like a couple of guys. Great. So there was a lady, Anna. And I reached out to Anna. I said, hey, Anna, do you know this guy? And I had reached out to Anna just a week before she came to me talking to me about the Stella, I believe the Stella Development Foundation, and she was just trying to work with these guys and potentially even she asked me, "Hey, John, are you guys doing anything on Stella?" I was like, "Not really. We're focusing on Cardano, and what's that for? Say, hey, listen, I'm working on a couple things, and I'll let you know if this materializes. Then maybe I'll let you know, and you guys can get a grant, and if you think you can do something on Stella, but if not, recommend me to somebody else who can do that. And a week later, I said, hey, Anna, do you know this guy, Eric? Yeah, sure, I know the guy. You want me to make an intro? Yes, please. Do an intro. So she very quickly she creates a a group chat or conversation on LinkedIn and introduces Eric. Same day, Eric was on a call with me, and we had a conversation. And Eric was blown away by what Axalio was actually after. And I can tell you, every single post on LinkedIn, Eric has liked them. At some point, probably even reposted them. And I full of enthusiasm. And eventually, very quickly, Eric said, hey, John, you guys are working on something really awesome. I want you guys to meet my team. So he brought in Otto, he brought in Martin, he brought in Fabio. We had a conversation. And at that time, I had already applied. I believe I applied on May 15th. But we had a call on, sorry, not May 15th, March 15th. And we had a call on March 31st. And so on March 31st, 2 weeks later, Eric smashes to Fabio and say, no, Fabio says, John, but you guys should also apply to the grant anyway. And I say, oh, don't worry. It's sold already. We already applied. So I've been ready from day one. You know why? Because what they are working on is what Axalio has planned as part of its roadmap, but from a layer 2 perspective and layer 3. And for me, it just made sense. I was like, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have our own journey for our layer 1, which is on green chain, but it's not going to be the conversation for the day. We might talk about that in another podcast where we talk about our green chain initiative for tokenization as well, but carbon credit to offset carbon credit. So that's another exciting conversation for another day. But I was like, you know what, this is exciting. So it started from there, supplied all the material. We had already the licenses in South Africa, FSCA, which is the Financial Services Control Authority, Category 1 and Category 2 license. And I showed them on the Zoom, I was on Zoom or Google Meet. I showed to Fabio and say, this is what we can actually achieve with these licenses. And he was blown away. He's like, damn, we've been holding for a very long time to launch our tokenization, whatever platform on Sologenic for about 2 or 3 years, because they're waiting to acquire a license in whatever jurisdiction that they're applying to. But it's if you guys have the license, this is going to accelerate our conversation. I'm saying.
Wait, so you have the license that Sologenic needs to tokenize? You're telling me that right now? Are you secretly part of their pilot program coming up? Are you allowed to talk about that?
I told you, man. I told you. Talk about relationships. I'm all about relationships.
So you like that? So you're not just gonna. You could utilize the tools from the Sologenic too on the XRP ledger. You saw they just won the lawsuit, right?
Not at this point in time, but we're looking into that as well. So our licenses, by the way, is a great place to start for Sologenic. So in other words, we are 2 in 1 for this relationship. We're building on Coreum, but we can also solve some of the issues of Sologenic. But now that we finalized this bigger step, I'm about to engage Bob on that specific conversation. Bob, the CEO of.
So with Coreum itself, how is this? How on the deeper end is this going to look? So you're going to utilize their smart tokens?
Yeah, we are.
They're going to be minted on the Coreum blockchain, and then they're going to be integrated into your application.
So let me tell you high level. I don't want to go into the detail right now.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Some of the things that we want to do on the blockchain on the Coreum, right? So our first milestone will be, listen to this, we want to tokenize at least 1 kilo of gold. So we are going to buy our own gold. 1 kilo of gold today on the international market cost about say I believe $63,000 right now, 1 kilo of gold. So we're going to buy our own gold, whether it's 1 kilo or half a kilo, doesn't matter, but we are going to buy our own gold, go through the entire process and put it into a vault in Switzerland or in Singapore, it doesn't matter, but in an LBMA accredited vault. And then we are going to have an independent review, let's say Lloyd's or EY, whatever that is, to come through and verify and certify that we do indeed have that physical gold sitting in the vault. They will issue a certificate, and only then can we tokenize that. So from next week, from tomorrow, actually, we've been looking at it, but we are now going to start the process of working on our tokenomics around the Coreum blockchain, right? For that tokenized gold. Now, we get the gold at 25 to 35% discount. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Let it sink in. 35% discount. On the lower end, I could be like, let me be generous, 15%, 10%, doesn't matter, right? But even if it was 5%, you have there, my friend, a tremendous opportunity for true yield generation. Not some wizardy Terra Luna type of thing. No. Some real piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying? Like real piece of the pie that is fully regulated, and you get a piece of that. That's exactly what we are going to do. Now, but because of that interoperability as well on this cross-chain, we want to give this opportunity to other ecosystems. So for example, if somebody else says, hey, listen, we want to get gold and we have our own reserves of gold, if we feel that we want to sell physical gold, well, we can implement the swap capabilities, whereby we burn our token, we burn our token, we make the tokens on the other side, and boom, we actually create them. That's it, right? We can do that. Or we can just leave the gold in our vault for our own reserves and create many other financial instruments around it, or financial services and products around it. How many digital banks today do you know sit on gold?
Not many.
There you go. So we want to bring back that real backing, whereby this gold reserve is going to belong to our investors, our ecosystem together. Yes, you want to redeem that physically? Fantastic. You can redeem physically from within the app. If you want the physical gold to be shipped to you, great. We'll ship that to you through our partner network. There are going to be fees or minimum for shipments, all that kind of stuff. That's how we are also going to make money, right? And once we do that, it's off our network, it's off the Coreum network, we burn the token. So one thing that we had to look into as well was the minting and the burn and mint mechanism that the entire Coreum system provides. And my CTO did a phenomenal deep dive on that. So we will not mint what we don't have, because that would be inflating the value of something based on nothing. And that is why for a very long time, this ecosystem has been filled with a lot of flaws. So we want to bring back the regulator. The regulator should know exactly what we are doing. What works traditionally for a very long time, let's bring it to the masses. Yes, I do understand the issues around, for example, some of the issues, especially the Bitcoin maximalist, right? Would say, hey, well, yeah, but your gold can be seized. Well, look, I understand the narrative around that. And that's the reason why everybody went into the Terra Luna or the Terra USD, because for the first time, the Terra developer community was creating a USD backed dollar that was going to be completely independent from the Fed. And that's the reason why these guys put in billions of dollars, because look, the concept, fantastic. It makes sense because everybody wants that independence. from the regulator. They were the one independent from the US dollar. But practicality and the implementation of it, the execution, did not work. It did not work. There were so many flaws in it. So many flaws in it. But in our case, we're bringing the natural resources to be owned by the community, by the people. Let's build these reserves. So we are going to have the centralized reserves of vaults around the world. But at some point, as we evolve, it should be controlled by the community. We'll figure out ways to make that happen. But for now, we are going to work with existing structures that are well established and are trustworthy in a traditional sense, so that our token can make sense, because now the public says, you know what? If it's not regulated, I don't want it. So let's not be rogue, but let's leverage the blockchain technology, help with the regulators, educate them about what we are doing, and show trust to our community that this is what you are going to get access to. Because in any case, right now, you're going to get access to, because the process is very complex for you. But Axalio is making it very simple to you.
So here's a question. So knowing what we know, knowing your goals, with your relationship with your regulators, how long do you think it's going to take you to actually deploy your first tokenized real world asset on the Coreum blockchain? Is it months away, years away? Like, what's a realistic expectation?
It's months away. We have a 3 months roadmap. Look, we were supposed to start on July 3rd, but at least we have started already internally. But now that the whole thing has only been finalized last week and made public, we are going to fast track that development anyway. So we are aiming for October, somewhere mid-October, to actually have our POC somewhere there. But I don't know whether we are going to push by a few weeks based on this lag we've had for July. Either or, we're aiming for a 3 months first delivery, whereby at least some proof of concept is going to be on the market out there, and people will be able to get a piece of the action. And I'll be very excited to come back to your podcast, Zan, and talk about how we intend to make this available to the public. In fact, as we go on, maybe what I should do is every month talk about some of our major progress. For example, once we finalize our tokenomics, I want to be able to come back and share that with you, especially on how this is going to pan out, what are we really giving the people out there, how can they benefit owning a piece of gold, and potentially, if in the future, a piece of cobalt, or the future revenue generated by cobalt, lithium, all that kind of stuff. So I want to come back and present that to you and the audience out there, so they can understand where we are, right? And so yes, so it's months away. It's not years away. And we hope to achieve that in a short period of time. Yeah.
So people like download your application. It'll be like
correct.
It'll be on the Axalio app.
Exactly. So it will be both a web-based platform as well as a mobile app.
Wow. So man, that's what, October? That's coming up quick.
It is coming up quick. So and you know why? Because we we had built an MVP, which, by the way, I have. I could have shown you. I just don't have the time right now to show you. But it's a fully web-based platform. This was not necessarily tokenization behind the scenes, but it was more a marketplace for offering investment opportunities to a whole bunch of people out there, right? Well-curated investment opportunities to the world to come on in and invest and all of that stuff. Now we are going to fine-tune this, everything else, and make it available. So if you think about it, what we can do here is, while we're busy laying out the foundation layer with the Coreum blockchain, products can be offered on the front end in this marketplace, in this MVP that we already had. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that process can be really fast. In any case, first versions of our release is not the ultimate version, but it is definitely something in the right direction that will allow people to get a piece of the action And once we've done that, then we'll be able to go on a massive race to do a couple of things to grow our team, foster the development of our core technology, but ultimately to own the actual physical commodity, building our own reserves. That's what people truly want. They want that reserve. And of course, building mechanism whereby the custody of it is going to be top notch. We are going to be working with guys like Fireblocks as well. We are going to work with the reason we want to work with guys like Fireblocks is because they provide us a great ecosystem where, for example, getting access to liquidity partners, building out our secondary market exchange if somebody wants to be able to liquidate it. Yeah, so all of these things is what the environment gives us, and we have been in a relationship with Fireblocks for a very long time,
Oh,
exploring what should
you have
be.
that
We
you
should.
have that relationship?
We have the relationship already,
I
and
thought
we
Eric
have.
got you that relationship. I'm pretty sure Eric helped get that deal for Sologenic because Sologenic does stuff with Fireblocks.
Yeah. No, but that was way before Eric. I've got two guys over there that I've been talking to since last year, so we are pretty excited about it. But now this is just going to be fast tracked. So we're excited about it, man. I look forward to more.
So are you guys gonna plan to like launch a validator on Coreum or like do anything else on Coreum?
That's a conversation that I'm going to be reviewing with my CTO. I think if we do, yes, we are going to include it as part of our roadmap. But for now, I think we kind of want to be focused on the delivery of our
Tokenization.
promises to exactly. So once we do that, I am definitely open to the idea of launching a validator. And well, look, come back to you for some expertise based on what you've been able to achieve so far, what you've been able to do, and make sure that it makes sense for us as well. I think you can still just add great value to our ecosystem, what we are actually been building.
So is the Coreum team like you said it's gonna get a lot more serious as far as your relationship this week? Are they
Yes,
assisting
so
you with like some of the technology aspects, like helping you guys with the smart tokens, or you guys kind of just on your own? Like,
yeah, yeah. So far we've done it on our own. So we've done a deep dive ourselves, and but tomorrow we are kicking off with the developers. I think what's his name? Giovanni was on that call the other day on that AMA on Twitter Spaces. There's Giovanni and two other folks out there. So tomorrow we are in a meeting with them to kick off the conversation and talk about all the technicalities. Um, but we've got our teams that are familiar with the Cosmos environment that took a deep dive and understood what needed to be done, and they ran some tests on the test net as well, and making sure that they were comfortable
well, Cosmos is the way to
to
go as far as what you're trying to do with that minting and burning. Like that's what they specialize in is the IBC transfers,
there you go.
interoperability. So you guys are
There
going
you
to be able
go.
to have, interoperability with many blockchains launching
My
with
man.
Core. Yeah, so it's
And
a
this
perfect
is
fit.
beautiful because this is beautiful because through that interoperability, then we can just focus on one blockchain and just enable cross chain as opposed to
Exactly.
building on all these other chains. And that's the beauty.
Exactly. And it's fast. It's fast. You could develop a Cosmos blockchain a lot faster than you can on Cardano. So it's a lot, the development
Absolutely.
happens a lot faster. So you guys could like
I
race through
agree.
things. So there's
I
the
agree.
speed and the WASM, so many developers easily could onboard. It's so easy for them to just start using WASM. They already created
100%.
it.
100%. Whenever Cardano is ready, then we'll be able to do some integration there as well. But at this point in time, I think I'm very excited about where we are, and this partnership means a lot
So
to us.
this is also going to help empower basically Africa as well. Like the community, like will people from your country also benefit from this
Yeah,
technology? We didn't really
a
touch too
hundred
much on that.
100%. So if you just say we have this whole we are going to touch into the whole DeFi space as well. So providing landing pools and borrowing pools,
I was
and
wondering
if you
if you
think
guys, I was going to ask you if you guys are going to create like liquidity pools for your tokenized assets. like
Yes,
put some
we are.
tokenized assets with Coreum. That will help Coreum out
Correct.
because there'll be more total value
Absolutely.
locked.
Exactly. Because that's the whole idea. Because now once we do that, then guess what? It's only going to bump up the valuation of Coreum and the network effect as
The
well.
lending will
It's
be
going to
big
be crazy.
too because you could do lending with tokenized real world assets.
And the whole idea for us to do that is because now think about it. If somebody's got his own sort of gold backed token that can be staked or whatever else put out there on the landing protocol and get access to the idea with that landing and borrowing protocol is to enable the guys, remember the miners who couldn't get access to capital, who now need access to these for them to be able to do the business.
Uh,
And by doing that, guess where the yields are going because of those operations is going to the people on the Coreum network, or at least the people holding our token, and that amplifies the value of the network
so
as we go. So
as you were
that's
saying
the whole.
earlier, you don't need to have 1,000 people. You just need to have like 100 of these big suppliers using this
That's
protocol.
it. That's it. And now, because our solution is going to be once it's proven it works for one or two or three, and now we go on a massive marketing initiative to bring all these guys on. Imagine what will happen when we have 100,000 people on board, and we
You
have
never
a
you never had a
roadmap to do
conversation
that.
with Bob yet? You haven't talked to Bob?
Yes, I did. I did speak to Bob
Because he does
once.
import exporting with auto parts.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay.
So he
Bob.
probably
Bob is
very
normally.
he's probably
Yeah.
very familiar with your language with dealing with like buyers, sellers, different countries.
Correct. Correct. Bob and I will definitely get together pretty soon. I hope to catch him in Dubai. He's always there in Dubai as well. Um, but look, that's the conversation that I want to have with him. Uh, I should meet Bob and I should meet Reza when I'm in Dubai. Hopefully, I will be in Dubai this August and get to meet them as well and talk and see how we can actually get enabled ourselves. And by the way, we are going to have just about 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I was actually 2 years ago now. I was Axalio was approved to set up office in Dubai at the DIFC, which is the Dubai International Financial Center. And the whole idea for us there is to set up a hub that will be very close to, some of the guys in the Middle East. And we want to be able to network and mingle with these guys and also attract investment from there. But also because those guys are very interested in gold too. It's a very interesting country welcoming gold. So I look forward to having a further conversation with Bob in what we are doing. Yeah,
The hot thing is lithium right now, right? Like that's what Elon Musk was saying. It's like one of the biggest things, bigger than oil almost. And that you have
absolutely.
contacts to that to those suppliers.
Absolutely. Just to give you an example, we once again in my country, uh, there is a region called the Tanganyika region uh, that has the potential. I don't know if it's the largest or the potential of having the largest deposit of lithium in the world, but the environment is not yet developed. But I know of an Australian mining company. I'm not going to mention the name that is actually listed on the stock exchange in Australia. And one of the guys in the board lives down the road from me here in South Africa. He's an engineer who's working on that board in that specific company. And guess what? They have just been approved a license to mine lithium, and they have a $600 million budget already approved. They will deploy about 1.3 billion. Now, doing that, man, this is another level. And I'm following the development of that whole thing, and I hope that over the next year or two or whatever, something is going to be done there. But yes, the whole idea for us is to seize opportunity and attract those lithium opportunities as well into the market. But of course, contrary to gold, you can't really hold lithium or keep it in your vault. So we're going to have to create different types of instruments. Think, for example, like maybe like a lithium ETF or something like that, right? But now tokenized and running on our environment on the Coreum network. So that would be pretty awesome. Yeah.
So do you guys have access to any big press or media? Because I feel like when you guys in 3 months, if you accomplish the goal of tokenizing gold or whatever commodity you choose, that's
Gonna
a
blow
pretty
up.
big story. You should
Gonna
definitely
blow
get
up.
you should get some big time media to cover it. I think people will be like, it's pretty big deal.
I got my CMO who is in Paris. He's actually traveling in Kuala Lumpur on holiday. He should be back this coming week from tomorrow already. So it's part of our plans and to make sure that we get covered by big media. But we want to move under the radar for now and focusing on exactly what we are going to deliver and getting closer to that date and that time frame, tell that story. And that story definitely is going to change the way we look into fintech in Africa. We're bringing in different things. And if you think about it from a B2B standpoint, perhaps every other fintech will want to work with us. Maybe what we can do for them is to enable them through the APIs and allowing them to get access to our ecosystem of opportunities that it can also expand into their own existing customer base.
And then there'll be options for people to, I'm assuming, get these actual tokenized assets delivered while the representation of the asset is burnt
Correct.
when they get delivered.
Correct. Correct.
So
We call
big
it
problem is like there
we call
will
it
like go into like
reachability.
an escrow, like a smart contract escrow
Yeah.
until it's delivered. Because I actually did
Correct.
some deal international with some company in Taiwan, and like there's so
Right.
much tension, so much stress. Like, am I dealing with a scam? Like before they send money, and like if
Yes.
it could all be trusted on a blockchain and everyone could see,
Correct.
okay, I'm sending money to this person, is legit.
Correct.
It's all verifiable. And then you guys are able to open it up to the world. It's like, hey, we have this here. Like whoever wants it, I'm sure there'll be
Correct.
all types of people able to come. So I kind of understand this because I was doing a international deal like this, and there's a lot very stressful. And I know blockchain could solve this, and I know what you're trying to do with your contacts. So this could be very special, and it's definitely not just an average fintech. Now that I've
Nice.
heard you explain it.
So the
What,
success of
how
this
long
is
have you
way
been a
beyond
network? How
technology.
long have you? Here's a good for like changing the subject a little bit. How long have you personally been networking? Or do you consider yourself like a networker?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Like, are relationships very important to you as a person?
relationships are very important to me, and since I've been focusing on Exalio pretty much since 2019, yeah, 2019, networking has been pretty much a part of a network online, a network at events. Um, and I make sure that I really just attract the right relationship, the right opportunities, the right people around me. So whether it's actually finding networking with angel networks or VCs or just any other person, I use LinkedIn, Twitter, lunch club. I think yes, I used to be on Clubhouse, but I kind of shut down my Clubhouse account. I think too much
Spaces
noise
took it
there.
over. Yeah, Spaces. It's not really
Sorry,
the Clubhouse has died. Twitter took it all over.
who took it over?
Well, you remember how you were in the Twitter space with Coreum?
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody does Twitter spaces. Nobody does Clubhouse no
yeah,
more.
exactly. Even Grant Cardone is actually moving over from Clubhouse to Twitter Spaces now. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just completely died, and but also at conferences, at events. I speak a lot at events. So if you were to go to my YouTube channel, John Lobella, you will see a whole bunch of videos where I've spoken in many places, and I've had many podcasts. So yes, networking is pretty good. It's pretty key for me.
Well, I think anybody that's watching this, should hear about that because your network is your net worth, and that's real
That's
for
it.
my life. So it's like the more connections you have, the more doors I could open up for you. We've been
100%.
on this for a little bit over an hour now, so let's finish up here. Is there anything else that you
Sure.
want to share with the Coreum community? Anything you think they should know, or anything that you just want to just say in general?
Well, look, I am very excited to be here on this and be part of the Coreum community. Um, just on that day, a lot of people reach out to me on my DM, direct messages. There's actually a guy called Abner. He lives in Australia, and he's a strong promoter of the Coreum ecosystem. And guess what? He happens to be from my country as well, the Congo, and he moved to Australia just about 20 years ago.
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
it's
him? Yeah.
Crypto Eyes on Twitter. Yeah, cool
There you
guy.
go. There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I told him I was Congolese, he was blown away. He's like, seriously? So we exchanged numbers. I am excited to be here, and I want to support. I want you guys to support us on our journey. But we are here to deliver tons and tons of value. It's going to be a challenging journey because of what we are looking to achieve. Not many people are doing that, and that's why it's pretty exciting to me. Because we really are solving some fundamental real issues out there, and that are not only going to change the way people get access to commodities or people invest in commodities, but also how these guys who were left behind for a very long time can really develop their businesses even further by getting access to capital through this lending and borrowing pools. That would allow them to do the transaction faster. It would allow them to help their own communities. But also, we want to be able to contribute towards creating jobs that will stimulate the local economies. This is, to me, how we should impact the world. And we want, through this relationship, impact the world by developing technologies that are definitely going to change the way things get done. Not just be stuck into the whole, you know, trading on exchanges and on unit swaps and things like that. Yes, that's all good. That's pretty good. It's fun. It is really good. I love it. But for me,
Speculative. It's all speculative.
it is speculative. It is all speculative. There's always going to be that speculative side of things. Yes, that's fine. But let's also really solve real problems. Axalio is here to making that happen. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here, Zan, and I do believe that we are going to come back probably every month, once a month, to tell you guys what we are doing and how far we've come. And I look forward to being here.
Well, this was great. I'm super excited for what you guys are doing. We are rooting that
Thank
you
you.
guys are successful. I mean, if you guys achieve your vision, it's going to be huge for the whole Coreum network, local economies, and that's going to spread. And that's how we make positive changes, right? And that's what it's all about. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Coreum airdrop is coming in. If you guys need a place to stake your Coreum, Zen Lounge Validators got your back. You can stake with Zen Lounge. And he's gonna come back. John's gonna come back. We're gonna talk and update as we get closer and closer to the actual tokenization of real world assets
That's it.
with his project. We're gonna update you guys here at the Zen Lounge. So, John, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. He's all the way in
Precious.
South Africa right now. So this is just an example of what technology could do, like have these type of
That's it.
conversations. And we're going to take it even farther with tokenization. So peace out, everybody, and have a good night. Peace.